Yeah, let's just get into it, man.
Yeah,
this
let's
is
go.
this is just our opportunity to have a conversation and talk to Kirk about what inspires him and hear about your story and where you are now, where you want to go. Talk about the past, the present, the future, and yeah. So I'll just make a quick introduction. I mean, this guy needs no introduction, but my name is Aasheesh Paliwal. I'm the head of artist relations for JBL Pro and HARMAN Pro in general.
Give it a five sheets. Let's go.
Hey.
Let's go.
Well, man. And yeah, I also make music. I DJ under the name ShiShi, SHI, electronic music. And so, I'm really like in the exact same position as you guys. Like this kind of stuff is super exciting for me because like everyone here, I'm sure I'm really passionate about music and the creative process. And it's really a blessing to be able to learn from somebody who's on that path, maybe like a little further along.
Thank you.
So yeah, let's just get into it. And Kirk, I think we chatted about this a little bit yesterday on the phone when we were getting ready for this. But you had some really cool kind of stories about how you first came up, and I'm sure people here know like your affiliation with Pro Era, obviously, and Joey, and but maybe let's just start there, like the origin story, like the birth of Kirk Knight and like kind of how that
I love
happened.
talking about this story because it's so fun. It's so true. So basically, what happened was, went to middle school. I was born in Brooklyn. Middle school was MS61. That was where it all happened for me. Like elementary and all that, I don't really count any of that because it's like I was still like just young doing shit, so it didn't really matter to me. But middle school is where like music and everything, like even me having my love for chemistry, everything came together like in middle school. So I'll just start there. I always just start there. So we went to MS61. It was me, my DJ, and my day-to-day. He's right there, Rel Knox. Shout out Rel Knox. And Joey. And Joey was the popular kid. He was mad popular. He was lit. He was lit, like honestly speaking. Like he was destined to be something famous. I just didn't know what at the time, but like he had the look, the mindset at the time, and then still does. But at that time, it was like early for you to even be thinking about shit like that. So he was like the only person in middle school like that like was rapping, and he was actually nice. Like he was like, oh nah, yo Joey could give him a run for his money. And back then it was like his name wasn't Joey, it was like it was Jovan. That's his real name. But like they'll say Joe or da da da. They didn't really say Joey yet. Like that wasn't really his name yet. You feel me? His shit was Jov actually. That's what I was trying to remember. I was like, what was it? Because he loved Hove so much, like still does. But he was just like, yeah, nah, Jov. And then he did the Major Look freestyle, and like he was doing mad like old records and trying to show how nice he was and stuff. And then I used to be on the table, and like I wasn't really like a lame kid. I just didn't really give a shit for anybody to know who I was. Like honestly, like I just was like, I'm here to just do school and go home. And then what I do on the block is a whole different activity than what I do in school, right? So it was like, mad countless lunches and stuff like that. Like, we're chilling or whatever, and I'm beating on the table, and he's rapping over the shit. And the chemistry is, like, mad organic. Like, it's dope. Like, it's not, like, forced or anything. It's just that when I see him rapping a cappella, I'm just like, yo, it's so nice. He just need a beat. So then we playing Call of Duty. Like, we get closer and closer and da-da-da. We're, like, best friends. Like, So we're playing Call of Duty in... this was like probably my last year in middle school or something like that. Timeline always gets fuzzy for me. But I remember we was on Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and he was telling me, he was like, yo, bro, I think you should just really just make beats, honestly, like, on God. Like, you just need to make it in the program. Start with whatever program, crack it, figure it out. Like, just figure it out. You should make beats, though. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to figure it out. So this is when BitTorrent was a thing, and I asked my older brother to BitTorrent FL Studio for me, and that was like the first program that I ever used. And then I started working on stuff for Joey, and then he came up with the idea like, yo, I want to make this project called New Kid on the Block, and this was before 1999. And I was like, I bet, let's go, let's do it. So I'm sitting there getting nice. This is when I started learning about gross beat and stuff like that. I was using Gross Beat for a minute. Like I can't even front when now seeing how popular it is in today's music, I was like, damn, I was there. Like, but anyway, so I'm sending him stuff and like we're making tracks, but like, you know, the thing with artistry, like you're gonna make a whole bunch of music you're not gonna use. Just gear yourself for that. Like there's gonna be so many songs, there's gonna be like this one thing that you like about it and you feel it OD and then like for some reason it just never became a thing or you forgot about it or it's always gonna happen. So we was making records, nothing came out of it. So then when we graduated from middle school, I went to Erasmus and he went to Morrow. So Morrow is where majority of everybody in Pearl went. I didn't go there. So everybody thinks that I went to Morrow, but I didn't. Like I had a whole different experience like in high school. So I'm going to Erasmus, but I'm still talking to Joey and stuff like that. We're still talking every day. So he meets Steez and Diamond Lewis and Desi and not Desi, because Desi actually went to Erasmus with me, and then Aaron Rose went to Bishop Loughlin. Like I said, we were scattered, but majority of everybody went to Morrow. So like Joey and him and Powers, like basically came up with the idea of Pro Era, and they were looking for new members and stuff like that. So I was considered, but back then I'm not even like thinking about music as an option at this point. Now I'm in Erasmus, it's a whole different playing field. It's like I'm in my neighborhood, and it's a very like poverty-stricken neighborhood, like, you know. So I'm thinking about trying to survive. I'm not even really trying to think about music and stuff. So I'm learning about chemistry. I'm learning about certain subjects that like I really love, and then chemistry was like the one for me that made me be like, wow, maybe I could just be a chemist in life, because like I really love chemistry. I think this is gonna be it for me. But of course I was still doing beats on the side and music and stuff like that, but that just wasn't my focus until Joey was like, yo, bro, like, and I was still sending beats, but he was like, yo, bro, I want you to meet somebody I think that's going to really inspire you and really take stuff serious, da-da-da, this is the third. And I was like, I bet I'm down to meet him, whoever it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm down. So I go to Joey's house, and Joey's house was literally like 2, 3, 4 blocks away from Erasmus or whatever. He used to live on Snyder. So I go to his crib, and then I meet Steez, and then he's literally like one of the most like introspective, without saying a word, person I've ever met in my life. I'm like, yo, this guy's not even saying a word, and you could just feel his aura from like across the room and stuff like that. And like he chooses what he really wants to say, honestly. And like when we met, he just was like, yo, I heard you nasty, Kirk Nasty, da-da-da. And if any fan, real fan know, like, that's what people call me, like, in the inner circle, Kirk Nasty, da-da-da. That's where I get it from. So he was like, yo, I heard you nasty, da-da-da. I ain't like talking about you. And I was like, I ain't know who he was. So it's like I guess Joey's just bigging me up to him OD. So I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but it's lit. I feel the energy. So the funny thing is, before I put 2 and 2 together, they rapped the verses for Survival Tactics to each other, like in front of me. And like I was just chilling, like, because the majority of the time, like when I was at Joey crib and stuff like that, like I'll just be in the background. Like I'm a background kind of dude. Like I'm not really tripping to be in the forefront. I can, obviously. But it's like I don't, like, you know, I don't really care to be, you know. So I'm just chilling in the background, like just watching them go. And it's like seeing, like, you know, like when you see Dragon Ball Z and you got dang, what's the thing before Super Saiyan and it's red? I forgot what's the name of that joint. Yeah, there you go. Bang. It's like seeing that, and then you see Steez being a Super Saiyan. It's like, damn, bro. Like, it's crazy. Because, in my opinion, I always said it. I was like, yo, Steez is definitely nicer than Joey, in my opinion. I always felt like that. And I always used to tell him, like, yo, boy, Steez nicer than you. And you get tight. But it'll make him go harder, though. And that's when you had classics like Hard Knock and, what's another one off the top? Waves and shit like that. Because he was always trying to go beyond the margin and trying to be better than Steez and da-da-da, that's the third. It was so fire. Like, it was beautiful. So after that day, I hit him up like, yo, who is that? Like, who the fuck is that? He's like, yo, this is Steez. I'm telling you. He sent me a couple links, and then he was like, yo, Kirk, we made this thing called Pro Era, and I want you to be a part of it. And I was like, oh, I bet I'm down. And I remember I was mad excited. He was like, but don't tell nobody though. You feel me? He's like, da da da. It's kind of like on some codename Kids Next Door shit. Like, you feel me? So I'm like, I bet, da da da. So I'm just cooking up beats and da da da. This at the third. So then we could just fast forward a little bit. So then Joey was like, yo, come tomorrow, da da da. Let's I just want you to meet everybody. So then I go meet like the whole camp, like in terms of like who is Pro Era and stuff like that. And I see a whole bunch of people. It wasn't awkward at first, but it kind of was just like, man, it's too much of us. Man, I don't know about this, man. I ain't gonna front. Honestly speaking, I'll be real. Like, I'm a real person. Like, at the end of the day, I was like, we gonna do a group? Like, we Wu-Tang or something? I'm good. I'm Gucci, bro. Like, I'm producing for you, but I wasn't saying I was against Pro Era. I just was like, damn, I ain't know it was this much motherfuckers in. I was like, but it was dope because then it's like you see so many it's like, imagine having like, 18 slices of the same pie, but it's like, this is raspberry, this is blueberry, but the outside, it looks all the same. But like when you cut in the stuff is different. Like, that's literally what it was to me. Like we all kids, young kids, just trying to express ourselves in any way, shape, or form that we can. And nobody really gave a fuck about us. And that's what the story was. A lot of people was even asking, like, how did y'all get so, like, how did y'all do it? It's at the third. And honestly speaking, it was just word of mouth. Like, literally getting the word out of, like, it was mad schools that knew who Joey was, like, at the end of the day. And they knew his skill. Like, oh, he nice. Or he the fly nigga. Or he a pretty boy. This at the third. So it's like, that word of mouth, you attach that to talent and you're going to go. You feel me? Honestly. So fast forward a bit. Joey does his free. So I wasn't there for this part of life, but I was there. But like I wasn't. Like I said, I didn't go tomorrow. So he did the freestyle that went on World Star, and I remember he was trying to put it on World Star. Mad, like he was doing everything he can to put that shit on World Star, dog.
Like what were some examples of like what he was trying to do to get it out there?
He was trying to find the email. We was about to pay for the email. Like, you know what I'm saying? You trying to figure it out. You trying to find the shit. Like, we didn't really know how to go about it. I'll take myself out of it because, like I said, I wasn't there. Because if I don't even know the name. I don't even remember the name of the video. But it's like one of his mans is beatboxing, and then he's like in this like little corridor. He's rapping, and that was the video that Johnny Shipe seen, and then picked him up, and then he was a cinematic artist. And then that was like a whole different world because then it's like now we're going to Quad and Premiere and we motherfuckers got school tomorrow. I'm like, bro, like we got to wake up in like literally 2 hours, like, and like we're going straight from Premiere and Quad all the way on like right around here, all the way to Brooklyn, all the way. Like, you know what I'm saying? We done rode our fixie bikes to the studio. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're young at the end of the day. We don't got no whips. We ain't got no real bread. We still got the green Metro card and shit. Like, for real. So it's like, it was just dope because then when we were on cinematic, he put us with Smoke DZA, Big Crit at the time when Big Crit was going stupid with I think it was Forever. Yeah, around that time. Vashi was on the label. I'm trying to remember who else was there. And then of course you already know Smokers Club, so they messing with Wiz Khalifa and Currency off rip. So then it's like you gotta understand, Wiz and Currency was popping his shit when we was coming out. So it's like everybody on the street got camo shorts because of Wiz. So it's like we're next to these people. Like what? We're gonna take all advantage of everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna sit here and learn how to really do this, how to really be a rapper, like how to really, you know what I'm saying? We smoked our first Dutch with Smoke this for real. Like we being real. Like I'm being like, honest. Like being around that made us become like way bigger artists because then you know how to move in your own skin. Yeah. And then you start knowing what's for you and what's not for you.
Talk about like that process like internally, because I feel like that's something that maybe like a lot of artists who are trying to come up, they they maybe don't know like how to act around certain people, or like, you know, like you want to leave a good impression, and you're nervous, and maybe like you get put in the studio with somebody. I mean, we got to talk about your A$AP Rocky story later.
Yeah, I got to see.
Told
of
me
course.
that's like a crazy story, but like you get in the studio with someone that you really look up to, and then, you know, you want to impress them, and you're playing them your beats, and like how do you deal with that? You know, like I think it's easy to look at artists and think like, oh, this person was always super confident.
Yeah.
But like, is that the case, or like, do you go through like a transformation?
I'm the least confident out of her, honestly speaking. Like I was always, if anybody looked at the stats of Kirk Knight, man, like I always try to do some other different shit that people either A, didn't like, or A, didn't understand, so they don't like it. And if they don't like it, it's fine. But it was like a lot of people like hated on me. I was on radio stations where like I was trying to rap and shit, and people was like, "Oh, nah, I'm not feeling it." So like, I wouldn't really have a lot of confidence. But what I realized is people are paying. Like, all right, this is the best way. Let me explain it like this. This is the best way I ever said this, right? If you're being somebody else, then who am I paying to see? So it's like, instead of thinking like, oh my gosh, I got to do this and I have to be this and this at the third, that person, the reason why you're in the room with that person that you look up to is because he wants to meet you just as much as you want to meet him. You just try to make it seem like this big thing because they have more experience than you. But at the end of the day, you got to understand the music industry is a young man's game. So it's like their time is coming soon too. They need something to keep in touch with the youth. At the end of the day, like, I love A$AP Ferg to death. That's my big brother. But he looks at me in certain aspects on how to stay in tune with the streets. Like, he'll be like, oh, what's that? Da-da-da-da-da. Like, he'll show interest in something that he doesn't really have knowledge on. And then when I tell him, he's like, word. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's vice versa. Like, I'm young as shit, so I'm not going to know everything in the world. Like, when he was talking about Turner for the watch, Turner, I'm probably not even saying it right. I didn't know what he was saying there. I was like, what is that? Like, I thought he was saying 20 G's for the watch. I don't know. I thought he swagged to some other different shit. I'm like, oh, it's a hit. I don't know nothing about that.
Making up words.
You feel me?
Yeah,
but nah, he was talking about the it's like this expensive jewelry spot that's like right on like 54th or some shit that be having like Marc Jacobs and shit. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just certain things you don't know because you just didn't experience life. You feel me? Yeah. So like, don't ever look at it in a way where it's like you gotta be some other different type of next level being to impress them, because they're already impressed. They just want to see you in real life. They just want to see if it's real. Like, that's literally majority of artists. Like, and think about it like this. We're in a time right now, I always talk about this shit. We're in a time right now where you literally can figure out who somebody is literally in a second. We have Google. We have so much search web browser things or whatever the fuck you want to call it that you could literally figure out and pinpoint somebody down to their location or places they chill. Like, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's not even about like sitting there and trying to make this person that you're not. You feel me? Because Dr. Dre, back then, he didn't even know Eminem was white till he met him. You feel me? Now you can know everything about an artist before you see him. So it's like they're already impressed. They're already in tune. They already heard your last single. They already know what you're talking about. They just want to see how you act in person. So they're not going to say nothing. They just gonna keep it cool. That's the only thing that I do say that be whack about that be whack about bigger artists. Like, they don't show or express that they love like new shit. Like, they be like, oh my God, I don't want to give them the clout, or I don't want to give them the this. It's not even about that. It's just is you like what you like. You get what I'm saying? And I just wish that's like the one thing that's still like getting like misinterpreted, and that's what messes up the bridges between a lot of new artists and the older artists. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they feel that need that they have to. You feel me?
Yeah. Well, do you feel like that? Because I mean, so I'm sure you guys know. So Kirk produced Plain Jane, and like that's a song that, and we'll talk about that too, because that goes back to the A$AP thing, which is like a really dope story. But like, do you feel that pressure now? Like, even where you are now? Because a lot of your other stuff is like boom bap or like influenced by other stuff. But then, you know, you can also make like really trappy, like stuff that is more of the moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, you obviously prefer what you prefer.
Yeah.
But one thing we were talking about yesterday too is like, as a producer, I mean, talk about like, you know, you have your own taste, but also when you're working with someone in the studio, like enhancing that person. And
so like even with being a producer, so like growing up with like producing for Joey and stuff like that, there were certain things that I was realizing in myself as an artist that I wanted to do, but I was trying to project it onto another artist instead of doing it myself. So I was sitting there like, I'm melodic as shit. I love Kid Cudi. I love singing shit. I love Hawthorne Heights. I love like stuff like that. Not saying Joey doesn't like that stuff, but Joey's not too fond of like melodic. Like that's not his forte. He loves it though, but it's not like his forte. Like at the time. So I'm sitting there. I'm singing like on like. We talking about the early days, so we had this series of projects called the sex tapes, the PE sex tapes or whatever. It's funny as hell. That was funny as shit. So we was making them joints, and I'm singing and shit, and then it's like now we're working on Joey's solo music, and it's just like certain beats that I'm playing for him. I'm like, nah, bro, this is if you sing it like this and da da da, and it's like I'm telling him like to hit like this certain note. This is before we even knew what notes were. But we were just like, I'm hitting this certain key. I'm like, yo, this is the frequency. And it's just like, I don't get it. Or he would do it and it just sounds horrible. And I'm just like, and then it's like the artist gets fatigued because it's like you're telling them to try too much. And then then the creativity's gone and it's out the window. So that's what I started realizing, that sometimes artists aren't meant to do the things that you're trying to project in your head. You're just supposed to enhance what they're already doing. Because at the end of the day, the real producers are the ones that make the world fuck with the artist just because of how the artist was produced in terms of like, he didn't change, but the sonic, how his records is mixed has changed. Even just certain ways of how his delivery has changed, but the person that's making the music never changes. You could change by somebody telling you so many opinions about your music. Next thing you know, then your music is just some pop shit. And not saying pop shit is bad, but maybe that's not what you wanted to do. But that was the intention of your mans, but that's not you. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, that's why I always try to tell producers, like, if you're trying to produce for somebody, try to get to know them first before you even try to produce for them. Like, at the end of the day, when I made Plain Jane for Ferg, we got in the studio and we chilled mad times. Like, I didn't do shit. Like, not every time. Like, you can't be thirsty with producing either. Like, you can't just be sitting there like, oh, you're not any studio anywhere, da da da. That's usually not how it goes. Not for real. Like, usually the one that's like, yo, nah, I'd rather just chill with you, get to understand where you at mentally, and then we can make some heat. Those usually the ones that go farther, because it's like you're in the mind of the artist, so then it's like you kind of know what kind of records to pitch them, or like how far they want to go out their comfort zone. Because that too, you gotta push people out their comfort zone, enhance their sound, of course, keep them the same, but still push them just a little bit, but not to the point where it's like they feel like they don't have no like resemblance of themselves anymore. They're like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell I'm listening to anymore, you know? Like, but pushing the envelope, it goes in steps. That's why I always tell people, it's like, you can't just push the envelope in one fucking day and it's just like, yeah, like, it doesn't work that way. Like, even with, like, if some of the people are, like, in here that's watching, like, the stuff that I'm doing right now and stuff like that in terms of, like, singing or whatever, melodic shit, that was, like, a long time coming. It wasn't, like, just, like, oh, yeah, yesterday I was like, yeah, I want to do R&B and shit, and, like, now we're doing R&B. Like, I literally tried mad times, mad sappy songs that fucking sucked, and just trying, like, and then I'm getting discouraged and shit, and I'm just like, damn, like, this fucking sucks. Like, why am I even doing this and shit? And it's like, so many songs I done played for people, and they hear my feelings and shit, and it's whack. But, and now it got me to a place now that it's like I feel confident and comfortable enough to know that when I make music, this is literally me, and I'm not compromising I'm not compromising my feeling. Like, I'm not doing that. Because a lot of people, they compromise their feeling. Like, and that's, like, the worst thing you could do as an artist, man. Like, I never understood. Like, I used to, like, listen to Cudi so much. Still do. But I'm just saying, like, and he always used to be so focused on the feeling. And I got what he was saying, but I never really got it until, like, I started making music for myself and then making Downtime or seeing the whole crowd recite 95 Till Infinity for Joey. Like, when you start seeing the feeling, then you start understanding why people like what they like and what they like. Like, in terms of, like I understood it was this festival run that we did. I forgot where the hell we were. I think we were in Croatia. And this was, like, 2015 or 14, around late night special time. I had nighttime. I just did nighttime. And I forgot what song Joey did, man. It probably was... Shit, man. I can't remember what song he did, bro. But it was in Croatia, and that was the first time we had pyrotechnics. So, you know, the flames coming from the stage and shit. Yo.
That's such a dope place to have the first pyrotechnics.
That shit was fire. That shit was so fire. It was so fire. Like, but then, like, seeing, like, he did One Train. That's what he did. He did One Train, and his verse is so fire on that shit. So, like, man, damn, y'all making me go back in time right now, like, nostalgic. So, like, when the beat dropped, the fire just went up in the air. I was like, and then that's when I understood this is what people love Joey for. Wow, this is fucking crazy. You will never see that walking in the street. You're never seeing that in the studio. You're never seeing that anywhere but seeing that artist live or in their habitat. And that's when I started realizing, word, all music does really work. Not for real, though, because it's like, once you see the reaction of it on stage and live and stuff like that, then you start seeing the rhythm of the artist too. Like, oh, wow, that's his pace. Like, at the end of the day, when I saw Hove live, I think it was like 2 years ago, and that's when he was doing that balloon shit. You know the balloon shit that he was doing? Yeah. And literally, it was the most energetic performance, and he did not move one muscle. I was like, wow, this is fucking crazy. Like, he's just like,
just billionaire status.
It was fire, though. Like, it was literally, it's a hard knock life for us. And he just, one hand, whole show. And that's why I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that works for him. Yeah. And that's when I started realizing Hove ain't changed. His subject matter has stayed the same for how long? He just talked about it more innovative ways, and then he started talking about art because he got rich. Felt him. I felt him. But it didn't change, though. Everything around him changed, though. Enhanced the sounds. He's using Kanye. He got Pharrell. He doing this. You feel me? Now we got Rockefeller. But his story did not change. Why change his story? Why? It's such a beautiful story. And that's what I try to encourage every artist. Like, just believe in your story because it's a beautiful story. You just don't believe it's beautiful because you're comparing it to somebody else's. You feel me? But it's a beautiful story. It's just how you rock with it.
Yeah, let's. That's so interesting because it reminds me of what you were talking about earlier with your story about RZA. Tell us that story and like.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you
just
about
like
RZA, man.
how, because I feel like that's really relates to what we're talking about. Of like you feel.
I feel like all the people when I talk about story, they're gonna be tired of me. They be like, I'm tired of you, nigga. You always say that shit. Nah. So all right, because it's dope. Because it's
such a good story. Because it's like
true.
It's basically what we're talking about like you feel a certain expectation to conform to a certain way.
Yeah.
And then once you let that go, like that's when it seems like
exactly
the magic starts to happen.
So then we got the word that RZA want to work and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of RZA. Honestly, like I literally was sitting there trying to mess with the SP1200 because of him and the. What was the other joint that the MZ 8000 or whatever, some other drum shit they used, but Joey told me that shit. I was excited. I was like, bro, I gotta be there. You know what I'm saying? So I remember we took a very long drive to this undisclosed location because I don't snitch. We don't do that, right? Shout out RZA. You know what I'm saying? So we in the temple. All right, one disclaimer I'll say. He has a ill-ass gong in there. It's fucking fire. It's so fire. It's so fire. It's ill as fuck. So I'm looking at the shit and I'm just like amazed. Like I'm speechless. I'm not really even really saying nothing. Like I'm seeing like cause you know he scores movies and shit. So you seeing like what's the thing that he scored? What was that one cartoon he scored? What's the name of that joint? Yeah, Afro Samurai. Boom. So I'm seeing big posters of Afro Samurai on the joint. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Then it's like, you know, he's known for collecting mad keyboards. So I'm seeing keyboards I've never even seen in life. Like, I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, you feel me? And it's like his crib is huge, fire. Like, I don't want to talk too much because I don't know if this is like a disgrace. I don't know what this is. But like, I'm just like, I just felt so honored that like, damn, I'm like, yo, like, I'm like, I think I was like 19 at the time or some shit. Like, I was young, bro. So I was just like, damn, bro, like, this is RZA. Like, what? So we're in the studio and stuff. Like I said, speechless, young kid, in awe. I can't even remember that moment that well, but I did remember, and this is the tip that literally made me plain Jane, for real. So we're in the studio and stuff, and he's playing Joey shit. He's playing shit off the MPC. He uses Ableton. That boosted mine. I was like, oh, shit, word. I was like, okay, word. At least I'm doing something right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's playing shit, and Joey, like, hears one joint, and then, like, he starts right into it. So then, you know, I like, always like to leave him alone when he writing and shit, because, you know, he likes to, or whenever he's in his vibe, because sometimes he don't write. Like, he'll just go off the top of his dome on his whole shit, like just remembering it, and I just let him rock because, you know, it takes concentration to do that. So we in the other room, and we're drinking sake and shit, and that was like the first time I had sake. Shit was lit. I was like, wow, it's fire. So I just was like, all right, like I just want to come out and say it, like hot, like this is like crazy for me. Like you're RZA, and like, you know, he's laughing like, oh yeah, you know, like you know what I'm saying, like. Not like on some, but it's like, what could you say? Like, you know, he's like, thank you. Like, you know, he's, you know, thanking me and stuff. But I'm just kind of like, what, how do you continue? Like, I'm not talented like the other producers. Like, I'm in sessions, I see producers, they're playing the keys and they're like, damn near making samples. I can't do any of that. So then he literally was like, look, I made my first platinum plaque before I even ever knew how to play one key. And he was talking about, because it was samples around that time. So, of course, it's a different era. But he literally told me it's like, it's about what's up here in terms of when you see it and you hear it. And you're like, all right, cool. So what's up here and what's up here. It's a combination of both. Because logically, your mind is trying to, when you're hearing the music and stuff like that, it's like, all right, cool, the verse goes here, this goes there, this at the third. But with your heart, what you're really feeling is literally when you play that key, you don't know what tune it is, but it feel right. That's what it is. Ain't nothing about anything logical beyond that. Once you feel it, that's it. And, like, it was mad simple. And I was just like, what? Like, honestly speaking, like, I'm like, what? That don't even make no, like, doesn't make any sense. But I'm like, that's just the simplest thing I've ever heard. So then, fast forward. But it did help me a lot. Because then it made me think, like, you know what? He is right. Like, if it's me and people want me for what I do, and I feel this is right, then this got to be right. And literally, I started thinking like that more and more. Boom, whatever. So, fast forward. So the funny thing about me and Ferg, right, is me and his so his girl and my ex were like best friends, still are, whatever, right? So funny things in like the social interwebs or whatever, people would say me and Ferg look alike, right? Funny. It's hilarious. This is before I had long hair for real. So like, nah, I don't think personally I look like this. Some people still say I do, whatever. I don't care. So, it's like shit like that going around, and then like my girl was like, yo, why don't you ever work with Ferg? I said the third, and I was just like, I don't know, it just never came. Like, I'm not a person that force shit, and you shouldn't be either. Don't be a person that force shit, cause it never works that way. When you try to force it, it just never works that way. I try never to force it. That's like the number one rules I keep to myself. Like, don't force it. So I'm like, yeah, if it happens, it happens. Like, I'm not tripping, you feel me? So I can't remember like what was the instance that brought us together for real, but we start chilling, whatever, this at the third. So a couple studio sessions we're in, we didn't make nothing, we didn't do nothing. I'm just literally a fly on the wall, like listening to records, him chilling with other people and shit, like not really doing anything. So boom. We go in the studio. Oh, my Asian books me a show in Germany. And basically, I don't know how this happened, but they booked me with Ferg, like in terms of like supporting him for these 3 shows in Germany. Man, random. So I go out there, me and him chilling again. Like we just get, and this is what I'm saying. When you don't force things, the reason why I can't remember is because I ain't force it. It literally just, now I'm chilling with Ferg all day. Like I swear, like it's like and it's the best feeling when it's that way, because then it's like you're not having like a timestamp on things. You're literally just enjoying life, and that's what enjoying life is about. You can't even remember how it started. It just started, and it was beautiful. And now I'm 375 million streams and shit. Like, for me? But, so, I'm like in the, so we're in Germany, whatever, and, like, I'm cooking the beats or whatever, this at the third, so he plays me, he does, what was he doing? He was doing a New Level remix. He was doing his verse there, like, randomly. Probably just, blowing off steam. Because sometimes you would say a verse and do it there and then don't like it. You got to re-say it again and whatever. So he does that shit. So I'm just in the studio, fly on the wall shit. Like, yo, it's fire. Like, set the third. Then he tells me, yo, play some beats. Like, play some shit. Like, play whatever. I'm like, all right, bet. Why not, So I was, at the time, like, I was working on, like, I was, like, focused on, like metal sounds that are, like, melodic. Like, so I was, like, not, like, metal, but, like, just weird. Like, it was weird. So I played him the beat for Nando's. So he, like, yo, what's this? Screwface. He, like, because he likes shit, like, that don't, like, that's unorthodox sound-wise. Like, he don't really like Ferg's not a melodic, best example, Ferg's not like a melodic guy. Like even with the song on Still Striving with Nav, he always tells me, he's like, yo, I love that song, but like the melody stuff, like I didn't realize like how much like, how much work goes into it. Like he doesn't hate necessarily doing melodic shit, but he was like, yeah, I can't perform that shit. Me on the other hand, I can, like I like doing that shit. But that's just a side note. So, playing the beat, he's fucking with it hard. He's writing to it. So then he goes in the booth. He starts doing Nando's. And I literally was like, oh shit, this is happening. Oh shit, we here. Like, I was smiling OD. I was like, I was in the corner like, yeah, nigga. Like, yeah, I'm that nigga, boy. Like, I was OD. I remember I was hype as hell because I was just like, damn, that's fire. Because it's like, you got to understand too, it's like, everybody's road's different. But for my road, it was really hard for me because it's like, I'm coming from boom bap. So everybody's looking at me for one particular sound, like, oh yeah, he can give me that Ghostface Raekwon vibe and no, it's Wu-Tang and Digital Planet. Like, and it's like, nah, that's not really, like, I could give you whole lot more. Like, I'm more like Pharrell. You trying to box me in like I'm like, Yeah. So he's doing the beat, and literally, like, I literally said to myself, I think this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. Like, I swear to you, I'm like, yo, like, and of course that feeling always changes because now how I feel about music and things like that. Not saying that I don't love music or this at the third. I just know that I see why people branch off using music as a platform to do bigger things. Understand that. Definitely get it now. Now that I'm older.
That's really interesting. Like,
for real.
So when you say, I think I'm going to do this the rest of my life, that was that was the activity of being the producer.
Exactly.
With the rapper in the booth.
Exactly. And that was also living in the moment that I feel like a lot of people don't do. You got to live in the moment as a producer, as a lot of favorite people's favorite records are made off of the energy of the room, not the energy of the world. You understand what I'm saying? So like you got to pay attention to that too. Like some people will be sitting there trying to confiscate like a different type of sound and stuff like that, when all you got to do is just look around what's going on in the now around you right there and then at that moment. Like I'm looking around me in the studio with Ferg, and it's like I see like these like German dudes like they going ham, like this is hard. Yeah. And then Ferg in the booth like, this is Nando. I'm like, yeah. And it's like, it's hard. It's like make you feel like it's liberating. It's like, okay, bet, you know? And so then so that's one. I'm like, boom, ooh, fire, right? And like I said, I probably Phlegm. That was the next one. That was the one. And sometimes I mix up the two, which one's is first, but it happened already. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so Phlegm happens, right? I go to L.A. I was out in L.A. I forgot for what reason, but I think I was out there for something for Joey for some UFC stuff or whatever. So we doing some stuff. Her Ferg was in town. I'm like, oh, bet it's lit. Let's link. So I got the Red Bull studio out in L.A. and I was working on stuff, making beats and stuff like that. But I was just like, should I make some stuff for myself or should I be a producer today? And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just be a producer today because, like, my artist stuff, I was still trying to figure out stuff. So I didn't want to waste time in big moments of my life doing something that I could practice every day anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I just was like, yeah, let me just work on beats because, like, I should take advantage of me being in the Red Bull studio. So I tell them, bring me the Ableton Push. They brought it to me. So I'm trying to learn the push. So that's the first time I ever really messed with the push for real. So I'm trying to learn it. Because I had one myself and I was messing with it, but I didn't really get it for real. So I'm messing with it. So I'm doing I'm chopping up. So what I did was I played something and then I chopped it up. It wasn't the first time I did it, but the first conscious time that I did, like, all right, I'm going to consciously make a sample and I'm going to chop it up and see what I get. Like, so I chop it up. I'm making the beat. I'm like, yo, this shit hard, bro. I'm like, but nah, I don't feel like Ferg gonna like this one. Honestly speaking, that's what I said. But I said, you know what? You never know. Let me just play that shit. So I tell him pull up. Yo, pull up. Yo, it's lit. He pull up. He's like, yeah, play me some shit. So, you know, that's the first thing they ever gonna ask you. Yo, play me some shit. I know you got some shit. You know what I'm saying? I know you got some shit in there. You know what I'm saying? So I play him Phlegm. First beat off rip, and he go. It's a go. And he get the notepad. He like, oh, nah, this is crazy. He started writing, and like, he was in his bragging bag. So then he like and it was funny because, and this is what I'm talking about, living in the moment. Like, if I was in my phone, I wouldn't notice that Ferg is grabbing the blanket on the chair of the studio and putting it over him, feeling like a champion. Like, that's so regular. It's so regular. It's not even like it's Versace or fucking Prada or Gucci, any of that. Like, it's literally some regular shit, but just the act of doing that, being like, yeah, like, I'm in the stool. Like, I'm comfortable in my own skin. Like, that made me be like, damn, word. Like, the whole world's your oyster. What the fuck? Like, that's what that instance was for me. Like, when he just grabbed that blanket and put that shit on his back, like, nigga, I'm Superman. Like, that was fire to me. I was like, word. And he just wrote the fires and then laid that verse. It was fire. And I was like, damn, it's fire. Fire song. And then he put me in the hook. He's like, Kirk Knight on the beat, right? And I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, yo, that nigga, once again, nigga. Like, it's lit. Like, we here. Like, I was so hyped. Because now it's like, I got the shout out, my nigga. Like, I got the shout out. If they see me in the song, I'm here. You feel me? And that's when I was just like, you know what? Like, music shit ain't all that bad, man. Like, because this is the realest shit I'm going to tell you. You're not going to make money for, like, the first, like, 3 years you do music, honestly. Like, 3-4 years. Depending on how you go, you're not making no bread.
I feel like that's, like, fast.
Huh? Huh?
That's like a fast timeline. Like
You think
340.
so?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I mean,
I feel
you're young, though. Like, I don't know.
I feel, but all right. So let me be safe then. 6 years. Let's give it 6 or 5. You know, but if you're lucky on your seventh year, you'll be like me or something like that. Cause this is definitely my 7th year doing music, or like my 8th or something like that. But
You say 7th year doing music. Do you mean like 7 years since you first ever tried to make a beat, or like was there a moment where you?
no, 7 years since I first ever tried to make a beat.
Damn.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So
That's quick, man.
Shit. What was the point I was just about to say? Damn, my bad. Fuck. What I was just about to say. What was I just talking about?
Well, you're talking about Ferg and working on it on Nando's with him, but
And
actually,
everything.
I wanted to bring up because I just hearing you talk about. I mean, that sounds like such an amazing moment for a
Yeah.
producer to have, like with an artist of that
Yeah.
stature, and I would love to talk about. Well, Plain Jane, obviously, I want to hear that story. I think everybody would love to hear that. But the way that you were explaining to me yesterday with your experience with Rocky in the studio,
Yeah.
and how like. Yeah, you might have these ecstatic experiences with somebody like Ferg, but like talk about the experience you had with Rocky and like then
Yeah.
how that followed up with you making Plain Jane.
So I'm gonna get to that because
Okay.
all of that kind of ties into
Okay,
what
yeah.
goes on. So, all right, now I remember where I was at. So then the Flem things happen. I'm hype. His manager calls me the next day and like, oh no, this is a go. We're doing the video today. So then we go back in the studio. We shoot the video. I'm like doing this shit. I'm like this. You see the video. I'm like doing my little thing. I'm like, oh shit, it's lit, nigga. Feel me? Boom. Flem happens. It drops. People are like, who the fuck is Kirk Knight? His beats are dope. Lit. Boom. Back on the map. Nando's still there, right? So we're in New York and shit. And I was actually going through a very depressing time in life, like with mad shit, like with even just with the times, man. Like there was like a very weird time, like when like music was just getting progressively just about like 808s and like stuff like that. So like it wasn't like our music wasn't prominent. It's just like you could tell sound is changing. So like I was just in a very confusing state. Like, and that always happens with artists. Like you're gonna be in a very confusing state where you kind of don't really know what's right for you and what's wrong for you. So then it's like, and then I was going through a lot of personal shit, whatever, this, that, the third. But I didn't want to leave the house. I was really down in the dumps. And I also broke up with my girlfriend that I actually loved. So I was actually really, really sad. So going through the motions or whatever. Ferg's back in town. He's like, yo, bro, I didn't see you in a minute. What's going on? I'm just like, good could be better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all right. But he's like, nah, you got to get out the house. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm Gucci. Like, and that's like, you know, I have this default mechanism in my soul that, like, I just fall back. I just fall back from life. Like, I'm, like, just in the background again. Be like, nah, nigga, come. You got to be in the spotlight now. We doing too much shit for you to just be sad and depressed. So I go to the studio. I meet him. I'm like, what up, nigga? Like, I'm here. So what's up? So he plays me the voice note because he did a voice note to Slob on My Knob. And he's like, yo, I did this voice note. Yo, I think this shit go crazy. Da, 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 this at the third. I want to do some shit like this. And you already know, like, their history with Juicy J and 3 6 Mafia. Like, you already know ASAP is forever validated from them off rip. So I'm listening to shit. I'm like, wow, this is actually a really great-ass idea. Let me try to mess with it. So I'm like, yo, give me that. So I take the voice memo. I literally EQ'd it the best way that I can, and I'm not good at EQing. I'm not good at mixing at all. But EQ'd it the best way that I can, and I don't hear the beat at all. Because a lot of people think, like, oh, yeah, he heard Slob on My Knob and it made the beat. Nah. I literally wanted to go with, like, I wanted the same bounce, but I wanted everything to be different. I wanted it to just be a completely different monster, different record. So I'm sitting there. I do the drums first. I'm doing the drums over to just the vocals because I EQ'd everything, so it's just the vocals. So it's knocking, it's moving. So I'm like, all right, so it's moving. I see Ferg in his bag, like, you know. Once you get that, it's this certain head bop that I cannot explain to any of you. You will only see it in real life and understand that is the bop that's gonna make you go platinum. But it was a bop. It was like, I seen it. I was like, yo, I ain't gonna front. Something in the air tonight. I can't call it, but something is in the air. So I'm sitting there. I'm working on the shit. So I add the piano. I start adding sounds. what really did it was the cause I had like a pterodactyl sound, some congos, and this some pterodactyl. I don't know what the fuck that shit was. Honestly, this shit was busting though. If you see my deconstructed, you know that shit was busting. You feel me? So what really did it was the train tracks. Cause then when I put the train tracks in there, it's like I feel like it all clicked to him. Like it was like New York. It was like this is that 3-6, but this is New York though. Like it was like whoa, no, scratch that. This is New York. Like it just was different. Like the record just was so different when I added that in there. It's like he was like, yo, that's crazy. He's like, once you see the face screw up, you're like, oh, it's over. You feel me? And the funny thing is when he did it, so funny when he did it, I didn't really like it. On God. Because I felt like he was just mad sleepy on it. Like, I'm like, damn, nigga, you sound like you about to go to sleep, nigga. I'm like, this beat so hard. Like, you feel me? And honestly speaking, it's not that I wasn't feeling the beat, but I'm so used to making shit like Big Dusty and Hazel's View with Joey. So this is different for me, too. So I'm listening to I'm like, maybe this beat is kind of whack. Maybe it's not going to go nowhere, whatever. Then my man's Rel is like, nah, this shit fire. So that's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes you're not even gonna know. It's really just how it's a feeling that everybody gonna feel, and sometimes you feel it at different moments. I didn't initially feel it then. Like I literally just like, oh okay, it's another record like Trap John. But his manager felt it, Ferg was feeling it, and my man's Rel was feeling it. So I'm like, there's gotta be something I'm missing because I made the beat. So obviously something I'm missing. So the label sleeps on the record, but Ferg's manager's gunning for it. Like his whole soul is on it. His whole bet is on it. Like this is one, I'm telling you. So they dropped 4 songs. Plain Jane was one of them. Out of the 4 songs, that one had the most views. It hit like 2 million fast as shit. And then the label was like, yo, what record is this? Like, we never heard this. You know, labels be playing. Like, they act like they heard it, but they ain't really hear it. But when they see everybody messing with it, then they gonna mess with you. That's the funny thing about labels. We could talk about labels another masterclass or whatever, because they're funny. But anyway, I'm like, on some shit, I'm sitting in the crib like, damn, man. Shit's kind of hard, man. I wish it could have been on the album. Fuck it, though. I'll get back in. All of a sudden, I see the song gone. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? So I call and like, yo, what's good? Like, is it gone? Like, they deleting it. Like, nah, this is going on the album now. I was like, oh, really? Hey! I'm like, oh, it's lit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's still all talk. Like, that's the one thing. Don't have high expectations if you want to be in the music industry. Because literally shit will turn left in like 30 seconds. So never, ever have high expectations. Like, I had the highest expectations for things and got so crushed. And sometimes that shit can crush you so much that it crushes your creativity. So just try not to do that. You feel me? Just a pointer. But, so I'm sitting there. I'm hype geeking in my old crib. Like, yeah, nigga. Like, I'm here. Like, da-da-da. Like, yet again. You feel me? And I'm building. And it was dope because I also say this, too. Always strive to build with an artist and just sending out mad beats to niggas and doing this at the third. Because it's like, at the end of the day, me sending out beats did not get me anywhere, honestly. And I don't really even be selling beats like that. Like, a lot of people don't have, like, a Kirk beat. It's, like, very rare people have that shit. And it's, like, sometimes it hurts my pockets. But do I care about the money? No. Because I actually care about my craft and my integrity. So it's, like, money gonna come. Money always gonna be there. You feel me? But that's one thing I always try to tell people because, like, even with Joey, like, I grew up with Joey. Even with Ferg, even if we don't make music ever again, for that time period, I grew up with Ferg. You feel me? It's about growing with that artist in that time period. It's not about what type of beats you send or whatever, this at the third. Sometimes that email shit is whack. Try to be in person because then it's like, think about it like this. You ever text somebody and they did not get, like, the way you came off, they didn't get it. They was like, oh, why you saying this? I'm like, nah, I even mean it like that. Nigga, like, I was talking like this or like this. And they're like, oh, nah, I thought you meant it like this. It's because it's not in person. It's through computers. It's through technology. It's not supposed to be like that. Music is not like that unless we're using the instruments and we're using this shit to make music. If we're talking about the communication in terms of the feeling, that's supposed to be in person. can't do that through the email. Sometimes you're gonna do it, obviously, because we get busy and we can't always meet in person. So especially after you make the connection with the artist, then it's more or less like when y'all get in the stew, it's super lit, but you can still send shit now because it's like you kind of got the idea, you already did it. You know what I'm saying? So, boom.
What would be your advice for somebody who, like, is hearing you say this, but maybe they don't have, like, that Joey in their life? You know, like they're a producer, they're like trying to work with someone, they want to build those relationships.
And that's when I know exactly how to answer that. That's when you work on your sound, because then when it's time and you have an ill sound, then it's undeniable.
People come to you.
Think about it like this: if Pharrell was to sit there and just be like, "Man, I'm waiting for that guy," he would have never created the sound that he's known for. I know all the times when he was looking for that guy, he probably rethought it. And I can't speak for Pharrell because he's Pharrell. But at the end of the day, I know how it is. It's like you be looking for certain things, and it's just like, you know what? Let me just work on what's happening right now. So when it gets to that moment, I'm ready. I know when he mastered his sound and figured it out, when he met Clips, he was like, thank the Lord. I know exactly what to do. He knew exactly what to do because he's like, all right, this is my sound. It's lit. Feel me? He knew what to do. When Timbo found when Timbo found Missy Elliott and was like, oh my God. It's like now and all that shit works for them because it's like now you found who, and then that's the artist that popularizes your sound. Then now Hove is like, and then shoot name with the fofo, and then now everybody want to rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying? That's how it usually, or that's when niggas want to start using your shit because, you feel me? But like I said, my advice is always going back to your sound, creating your sound. Because when the time come and they ask, what is your sound? You better be ready. That's it. That's the honest advice I'll give. Because if it doesn't come to you naturally, it don't make no sense trying to force it. Because then when you force it, then it's like you're not gonna like it. Because then you're forcing this ideology that like, yo, I want this type of artist. Da, da, da. Yo, why don't you do this? Then you're gonna start finding yourself giving the person that you're trying to limit the box. You like trying to limit the box for them, and it's like, no, you're just making the box tighter. And now they don't even know who they are anymore.
So you're really interesting because you're a producer and an artist, and like you had a record come out last year. It is what it is, which is amazing.
Thank you.
As an artist, it's like Kirk Knight, and it's you as the artist. But then you produce for Ferg, and you produce for Joey, and you produce for East Coast.
Yeah.
And does that because what you're saying about finding your sound, we're talking about that in terms of a producer, like find your sound and then find an artist that helps like bring that sound to the world, which you did with Joey and Ferg and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But what about as an artist? Like, what if you're you're rapping and also producing a lot of stuff yourself, but like I make electronic music, so like a lot of electronic musicians, like they are the artists.
Yeah.
A lot of them are honestly just like nerdy kids who love sitting in front of Ableton. Maybe they like don't have that confidence or whatever.
Yeah.
So for you, sorry, I was wondering where that went. For you, does it ever get confusing in your head to juggle like this is like when you make a beat? Are you immediately like this is a Kirk Knight song?
Oh yeah, no, it gets confusing. I still have troubles for that till this day from that because it's hard. That's the hardest. That's my challenge. That's my demon that I have to battle every day because at the end of the day, I feel like I'm so creative that I could procrastinate because it's like it's so many ideas that I'm jumping towards that I'm not finishing any idea for real. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I kind of just try to figure out what kind of level I'm at in my artistry. Like before, like when I was trying to go rap on Hot 97, I was like, I put that in like the premature stages. Like I'm doing shit, but like I'm gonna just keep working at it. Then it was a stage when I was like, I'm getting more comfortable with it, and then people started finding out like who I was and in terms of like my sound. And that's when the battle became hard because then it's like people want beats, but then it's like I'm focused on the album right now. Then it's like Plain Jane just drops, and then it's just like, I want to make music. But then everybody's like, hey, I want to beat, and da-da-da. The way I battle that is literally compartmentalizing your time and using it very, very wisely. Like, I don't play with my time. I'm the only person that can play with my time. Like, if I waste my time, then I wasted my time. I don't allow anybody else to waste my time, because then it's just like, I literally could have been making a beat that could probably make $1 million. Wasting my time talking to somebody that's wasting time, right? Out the way. Now, when it comes to being in the studio, I don't initially just think every beat that I make is for me. How I figured out my sound, and this is probably like, this trick is probably going to go really far. Should I share this? Yeah, maybe. Hey, might as well. He's like, everybody's like, yeah, sure. Hey, we want to hear.
It's a family affair.
So basically how I found my sound, I felt like it was rapping on other producers' beats instead of rapping on my own, honestly. Because I was rapping on a lot of my own stuff, and it was fire, nothing wrong with it, but you're stuck in your sound, and technically in your mind, still producing. You're not really... Now, artists, if you look at an artist has to go find beats, he has to go this, that, the third. He can't make it for himself. So I literally was like, maybe, why don't I think I'm like an artist that like can't make beats for himself? And let me rap on other people's beats like I can't make beats for myself. So I started rapping on other people's beats, and I'm like, yo, this beat sucks. This beat's fire. Wow, I didn't know I could sing like this on this beat. And years of that. And that's when I learned what beats I wanted for myself. Shit was crazy. Like, it was literally like the like reverse psychology. I was like, wow, this worked. So now I'm like, nah, this is the beat that I like. This beat is fire. It's so melodic. I love it. This is something that goes with this song that I made that's on this guy's beat. And it's like, that is what made me realize, okay, this beat is fire, but this beat is for the baby. This beat is fire, but this beat is for Thug. This beat is fire, but these guitar strings sound like Gunner. You start knowing what's not for you, because then it's like so much process of elimination. And that's how you really do it too, is like, when you start being like, okay, I can do everything, but I'm really good at. Once you start saying shit like that, then you start narrowing down so much of like things that you can do, but is it gonna get you far? And then you're like, oh shit, word, all right, cool. So then I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. This feels really comfortable. I want to see how this goes. Let's drop that. Test the waters, fans. Oh my God, I love it. Okay, let's do more of that. Let's see if I want to do this. Let's see. Yo, I don't know, Kirk. You getting mainstream? All right, so we're not doing that. All right, so let's do this. Oh, no, my son had the bar. Okay, so they want more of this. Literally years of doing that. It took me years of doing that. Like years of people saying I'm not nice, years of people saying that I'm going to fail, years of people telling me that I should just be a producer. Literally, years. It's so much people I looked up to that told me just be a producer. And like I was thinking like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should just be a producer. But instead of listening to them, I listened to myself. And now I'm even happier than ever. Because sometimes too, think about it like this. When you make music, you don't have to put it out. And I'm saying it like this. Don't feel just because you think it's semi-hot or it's because it's just music, you got to put it out. No. Be hard on yourself. Like, yo, is this something that is going to represent me in the future? There's so many records I didn't drop because I'm like, yo, in the future, I don't think this is going to represent me well. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to think long term. Like, if you're really trying to do this. Like, if you like, all right, cool, I know this is going to work. I want this record to always be out because this will represent me no matter if I'm 5 years old or if I'm 30. And you start realizing what records really are mad important. And like and don't just, like I said, don't just drop anything that is just music because you made it. Like really be hard on yourself. Like one thing that's so amazing to me, like I don't make records that like fast. Now I do. Before I didn't. But it literally took me years of me writing for other people too. Because that's the thing too. Like don't sleep. As a producer, you can write for other people. Just because you don't rap or necessarily make music doesn't mean that you can't give them a catchy melody that's gonna make you some more bucks in your pocket as well too, because it definitely happens. Like you could give somebody the melody and just be like, this was the cadence, and then you helped with songwriting the song. Just always try to put input, because I remember, and actually going back to the Plain Jane story, because I wasn't really even done with it yet, but it's cool. When I told Ferg I didn't like it. Like I told him, I said I think like, nah, I think you could go back harder, like really. And his manager told me no. It's like, I think this is the flow. I think the sleepy flow is what's gonna make it. And I was like, all right, y'all make the hits. Hey, shit. And I just let it rock. And then, you feel me?
Here we are.
Crazy. I just had to say that real quick. Definitely finish.
Kirk, I think that's a good place to end. We got some time for questions. So we'll do like 25 minutes or so of questions. So if you guys have any, we got a mic right here, so we can just hand it around. And just, I'll just say, so.
We going into questions?
Yeah.
You made share that last story.
Which one?
A Rocky one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Share the Rocky
All right.
one.
So, boom. Last story, then we can get into questions, right? I swear to God, this shit gonna inspire the shit out of you. On God. I swear
this
to
is
God.
insane.
I swear to God.
This is going to be a highlight.
My man Rel know. I folded. Anyway, so, I think this is right after, I forgot what time period it was, but like we had our time periods where it's like, you know, me, Joey, Rocky, Ferg, we always in the same areas or like same events. So you start seeing each other's faces, you know, partying, linkage, you know, all that shit, whatever. So I get the call to come to the studio and go play some beats, like, you know. He was like, yo, Rocky, that once you come through the studio, meet this new artist he got. I'm like, I bet this at the third, I'm down. I go to the studio, meet Playboi Carti, right? So this is right before Magnolia dropped. This is right before, like this is right after Broke Boy. Yeah, this is right after Broke Boy, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. I meet Carti. I know who Carti is, but I'm not too fond of him because, you know, he has a very mysterious, like, way about how he goes about his appearance or whatever. So I'm in the studio. I got beats loaded. I'm ready to go. I'm like, yeah, I got some new shit. I got the fire. Like, I'm ready to go. Let's play. Let's press play. So this was around, and they were doing certain songs I think they was doing like certain things for Cozy Tapes around the time too. But like I said, the timelines in studios and when album drops always be different because music be taking mad long to drop. So, whatever. So, we chilling, smoking, whatever, this at the third. Carti's in his vibe, da-da-da. So they asked me, yo, Kirk, play some shit. So I'm like, all right, let's go. Smile on my face, ready to go. I take the aux, playing shit. I'm like, and I'm looking around, going hard, and I look around, and I realize I'm the only nigga bumping. I was like, damn, nigga. I was the only nigga bumping on God. I'm sitting there bumping my life away, and they looking at each other like, this is Kirk Knight? This the nigga that's supposed to be legend and whatever? And then I remember when this nigga Rocky said to me, he's like, yo, I ain't gonna front, man. Man, back in the day, you had that shit, boy. I don't know, like. And I remember that crushed my little soul, man. I was so fucking crushed, because you got to understand, this is Rocky saying this shit, dog. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm 23. I'm young as hell. Like, when Pesos and Purple Swag and Kissing Pink and that whole wave of life was coming out, like, not for nothing, Rocky's still lit. But that way, like, when it came, I was like, it's so influential. Like, I was just like, yo, you feel me? So the fact that he's the one telling me my shit whack, that shit literally killed my career for me, my confidence, everything. And I know that wasn't him saying it on some shit like, yeah, little nigga, you ain't got no heat. Like, he was basically saying like, yo, I ain't gonna front. Like, I put a lot of, like, I told niggas like, yo, Kirk got that shit. You ain't playing nothing, you know what I'm saying? So Carti, the man of few words, was like, yo, I don't know, them 808s not knocking. It's over. My chance was gone. It's over. Then they started playing some other producer's beat pack, and while I was sitting there, destroyed. Of course, I ain't no bitch nigga. I ain't cried, but I could have cried because it was just like, damn, nigga. Like, damn, I folded. Like, and then I see Magnolia drop, Pierre Born is lit. It's like, oh, damn, I folded. Every bitch I know is dancing to this shit. I'm like, oh, no, I lost. You feel me? I was hot. I was tight. Shout out to all the queens and women's out there. You know what I'm saying? We don't say bitches to women and queens, all right? For sure. I just had to say that one time because people get it misconstrued. Like, you know, they feel like a conscious brother like me can't be a little ignorant. But anyway, so I'm like, damn, bro. Like, I remember I was in the crib sick. I was so sick. Like, you don't even understand how hard of a time. Anybody young will understand, not saying it like that, but anybody young will understand. When Carti came out, it was an undeniable wave of sauce. I was like, damn, bro. I was like, yo, I folded, bro. I was like, that would have been the next one. It would have been the jump, like, fire, lit. So then, cause that was after Devastated. Cause like, I definitely was platinum already cause of Devastated. So, and Devastated was like, the crossover record for Joey, like in terms of like, all right, a record that it bangs, but it's not necessarily trap. Yeah. You feel me? Like that's how I was, and even when we was making the record, that's what the intent we was going on. It was like, we can't really put him on trap. We gotta put him on some bounce. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, literally so depressed. I went through the most depressing spiral, dog. Like I was just like, damn, bro. But it did make me go on YouTube for months and literally learn how to make my shit bang. Like, literally, I'm, like, sitting there. Because I'm self-taught. And to inspire a lot of people out there, I have never made a resume in my life. I never had a job in my life. I don't even know what a job is, on God. Like, I have no clue what the fuck that is. Like, and that, I just want to show you, you can really follow your heart, on God. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really can. Like, I literally... if you was to put me in front of a desk and told me to make a resume, I do not know how to do that shit at all. Like, I'll be stuck, for real. But if you put me in front of an NPC, I'm gonna know how to I'll make some damage. Feel me? But anyway, beside the point of that, so I'm sick, I remember I told my mans, I'm like, yo, you know Carti? Yeah, nigga, I'm bumping this shit right now, nigga, what up? I'm like, yo, son, I was in a session with son, I dead folded, this at the third. And my man's is like, yo, my nigga, you ain't really even fold. Now you know what you need to do, what not to play, and how hard you gotta go. And I was just like, you know what, my nigga, you right, boy. I ain't gonna front, son. Fuck it. Smoke spliff. And I'm like, all right, you know what? We back on it. Kept working on the sound, Plain Jane's 2 times platinum. On God. On God. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
That's a perfect way to end.
Yep, for real.
Damn. All right, so so we'll do some questions, guys. Try to keep them production focused, like on Kirk's career. You know, if you want to ask him like what his favorite color is, there's a meet and greet after that for that kind of stuff. So,
and I also want to just say thank you everybody for coming out. It's honestly been a very great ass experience. Like. It's so beautiful, like, honestly. Like, I love doing master classes, dog. Like, it's liberating for me, honestly.
Hey, so my name is Samin.
What's up, bro?
Forever inspired me, like, since, like, late night special. Crazy,
thank
bro.
you, dog.
My question is, once you got into making beats, the mixing aspect of it, how did you go about it?
All right, let's talk about that. Yeah. Boom. All right. This is the first lesson of Kirk Mix School. Don't worry about the mix. Worry about your leveling. Like, in terms of, like, it's technically still worrying about the mix, but leveling is, like, the lowest level of mixing and stuff like that. The reason why people's shit bang more than you is because they're just leveling it right. They're not even really doing any extras. Like, they don't know anything about API plugins and the UAD plug. They don't know anything about that for real, honestly. I'm just now learning about UAD plugins for real. They're literally just leveling what they want you to hear right. Like, all right, if it's a drum dude, all of their drum percussion section is going to knock crazy because he's focused on hearing the drums. So the melodies is going to be tucked behind that. Now, if you got somebody like Dr. Genius, shout out Dr. Genius, fucking man, shout out Dr. Genius, love him. He's more focused on melodies. His stuff still bang, but his melodies are really like, it's like it's way louder than the drums. Like it's still knocking, but the melodies you can hear it, so you can sing it. That's why I like a lot of Cudi stuff is more melody driven than drum driven. Really, really. So now, what I try to do is make sure you can have all your stuff clipping in terms of your tracks, like your kick, that's the third. It's your master track that can't clip. If your master track is clipping, then the beat is gonna sound horrible, honestly. And I'm saying this for the people who like clipping. Now, if you don't like clipping, I advise that you stay away from it, honestly speaking. Because at the end of the day, in mastering, they're gonna boost everything up. So honestly, the lower all of the instruments that you have in your track is the better, honestly. But this is where things get confusing. Artists nowadays, attention span is the size of a walnut, so they need everything blasting like fuck, right? So this is what I recommend for people in terms of mixing and stuff like that, right? When you got your sample, like, all right, say you got a melody, whatever, you playing sample, whatever. I know a lot of people be saying like, oh yeah, like you need fat filter, da. You don't need any of that. You literally can use a stock EQ on God. I use stock EQs all the time. My favorite EQ is EQ3 in Ableton. And I literally just take out all the low ends. Now my 808s is right there because that's all low end. You should just start taking certain frequencies out that you don't want clashing. Like that's literally what they're doing better than you. It's not any special type of plug-in or anything. Like there's literally that. Like, all right, I'm gonna take out all the low ends in the sample so this piano sounds like it's floating in thin air, and I want these 808s under it, like a horse, a chariot, or whatever. That's literally, if you look at music like that, that's literally what's happening, honestly. Like, you got the kicks and the snares and all that as the wheels and all that. You got the 808s as the actual horse. You got, like, you know what I'm saying? For real. Like, I'm sorry, my mind is, as you can see, my mind is crazy. I'm talking about horses and shit, comparing it to music. I'm crazy. But anyway, like I'm saying, taking out all the low ends so the 808s could breathe more, and then adding reverb to sample to sound like all Drake and Ghost and Spacey. Like, it's little shit. They're not doing that much. Even with the Mob Ties beat, there's not that much going on in that beat. Literally not that much going on. It's just how he leveled, how Boy Wonder leveled it, and where those snares are hitting. It's like about where you placing it, where you want it to hear. Like, if you want some shit like that, then you're going to triple it the snare. Like, you feel me? It's like what you want. And then now if you like, yo, I want people to notice that snare is doing that, then just bring that up a little bit higher than everything else. Like, literally, that's what it is for me. And that's what, because when you sit there thinking about mixing the record, you're literally wasting creativity. Literally wasting it. It's like burning. It's like you got like a creativity clock right here and it's burning down just because you're sitting there worried about mixing. Like, don't worry about none of that shit. Like, even all of the baby's new shit with Jetson made another one. Like, I don't know him. He's on the come up fire. I love his shit. I doubt he's worried about mixing. His 808s be busting. Like, it's damn near clipping to me. But it's like, who cares? The aggression that the baby's going in with his vocals is clashing with that 808 so well. It's like, wow, this record's amazing. A lot of people they're not even listening for the mix. You're the only one listening for that. Sometimes the littlest shit that you're like, why does it sound like this? The average person is not even listening to that because their ear is not even tuned to that frequency. So that's why I'll be saying, like, with my mixing classes, like, don't worry about the mix. Because majority of time, you think Chief Keef is worrying about a mix? Honestly speaking, you think if that shit does not bang and he can't, if I can't do my sauce on it, and that's no disrespect to Big Sosa. I love Big Sosa. Feel me? I'm just saying, like, if it's not banging, then what's, like, it don't matter. And that's like 98% of artists right now. Like, Then you got like, the Kendricks and the J. Coles, but they understand about post-production. A lot of people don't even understand that too. Like, at the end of the day, these records don't just come out perfect. They're gonna ask you for the stems. Like, it's all about if you get your point across in the beat. Like, all right, this is the type of beat I'm going for. Like, say I'm trying to make a dark, twisted fantasy beat. So the beat is mixed horrible, but you can hear SB1200, and you can hear the Sub Fatty, and then you can hear a Prophet 12. As long as the man is here, oh wow, he's going like analog, and yeah, let's go. We need this. They're gonna go get Charlie Wilson and this keyboard from the Himalayas, and they're gonna do all that. That's not your job. At that point, your job is done. They could create it into some next shit as long as you get your point across. Like, that's it. Honest to God. If that answers your questions. All right, for sure.
So my question is, what was the track that made you feel confident as a rapper?
Oh, damn, that's a good-ass question. I ain't never heard a question like that. Damn, that's a good question, boy. That's actually nobody ever, man. Hey, ain't nobody ever asked me that question, man. Shit, what the hell? I've been doing this shit for 8 years. Ain't nobody asked me. Nah. What was the first? Damn, boy, that's a good question, boy. The first record that made me feel like I could do this, boy. I wouldn't say that. Oh no, where's that? Facts. That's definitely. I had to think. I'm like, this guy. There was this moment I remember where it's at, boy. It was when we performed at SOBs, boy, and I had a tank top on. I don't ever wear a tank top, so that was different. Like, I don't ever wear a tank top, and I was swagging on this fine thing on the stage to my verse, and I was the only nigga that did that, brought a girl on the stage, boy, and that's why I was like, boy, I'm that nigga, son. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care if Joey in the front, nigga. I'm right there, nigga. That's literally what. That was the moment. That was the moment. Thank you for asking me that. Like, I needed that for my own self. So thank you, for real. All right, next question.
What's good, man? Thanks for all the gems, bro. So, with sample culture right now, where do you think it's at? Where is it going? And how often are you using samples organically? And how often are you creating melodies like off the dome?
Okay. Samples actually are really heavy back in the game right now due to the fact that you have people like Frank Duke and you have Q Beats and you have what's another good melody dude that be making some fire? T-minus. So you got producers going back in again and making their stuff. So I think right now is really prominent just because at least from what I hear, like, Wonder Girl uses a lot of samples and shit. Like, I don't know if this is true, but I just heard, and like, a lot of producers, when you see like 2 producers on one beat or like 3 producers on one beat, usually they're using somebody's sample, and then they're using a loop or something, that's the third. So I think, and especially with like websites like Splice and stuff like that, like, loops and stuff like that are way more prominent in sampling. I would say royalty-free shit is definitely taking over the world. Like, that is the thing to do now. And you got people like how you say his last name? Nick Maria? Nick Mer. I always say his last name weird. I don't know why. But like, for example, him creating those melodies for Juice WRLD, and like, they're actually really like intricate melodies that he's drawing in and stuff like that. So I think it's actually really playing a big role. And yeah, nowadays I don't really sample like that unless it's royalty free. All that old sample from vinyls and all that stuff, the only reason why it's dead is because when it becomes a hit record, it becomes a problem. Simple as that. As soon as it becomes a hit, it's a problem. If it's not a hit, fine, go ahead, do whatever. As soon as it becomes a hit, it's over. You're not seeing no bread. They taking all the bread, and then it's like, not for nothing, you're the one that got them even popular in the atmosphere of what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of like some artists you sample from this genre, now they popping again. You feel me? And not for nothing, it was because of you, but you're not gonna get that credit because you sampled them. I don't got time for that. In my pockets, they don't got time for that neither. For real, honestly, honest to God. So at the end of the day, that's when I started being like, all right. And it's actually more challenging, because then you gotta think about it like this: Pharrell was not using samples all those years. That's a lot of not sampling. That's a lot. Like the most he would probably sample is like a drum, but a lot of this shit was he's playing all that shit. So shit like that is inspiring to me, because then it's kind of like you pushing the envelope of yourself. You feel me? Samples is dope though. Like I always encourage people to use samples, because that's how you're gonna get your training of what you want records to sound like. But I always strive, if you know how to play instruments, is always way better. It's always way better. Because then, see, the thing with samples, there might be a certain thing that you don't like about it, but you can't change it because you ain't play it. And then it's like you trying to explain it to the dude who played it, but he not going to see it because he made it. He like, this is fire. What are you talking about, this sound? That sound I love. But when you're making it yourself, you have all creative control how to change the record. And then you can sample yourself. Because then it's like, say you make this super pop record with this guy, and then it's like, you like, word, like, but then I chopped it up and then I made this song with Ferg. Then it's lit. Because then it's like you're sampling yourself at that point. And I know people like, probably like Frank Dukes and QBs be going through it all the time. They probably got 4 producers sampling them, and they making 4 types of revenue streams of bread, because it's like they chopping it up different. So that's why, I don't know, I feel like royalty-free samples and trying to push yourself in terms of making samples always just going to go farther. Because when it's yours, dog. Like, you could literally flip it in the next 10 years and make another hit with the same shit. You know how much hit records was made with the same shit? Like, I didn't even realize, like, wait, Lil Jon. It was, fuck, I forgot this. Oh, this would have been so dope. It's 2 records that are on the 2 completely different scales of music, and he's using the same sounds. I forgot what songs it was, bruh. Fuck. Oh, it was yeah. What's the name of that one? Yeah. Oh yeah, word. That was funny. I'm stupid. It was yeah, and it's another record. Oh, PD Pablo. Call it number 1. And it like Freakin' League. Yo, I swear to God, this shit is crazy. Listen to those 2 songs. Literally the same sounds is being used. 2 different hits. On God. Shit was, I seen it and this is just a gem to inspire you. Like, I be looking for shit like this just to inspire. Like, you feel me? Like, that shit inspired me so much, dog. And like, even when you look at people like, one of my like favorite producers, honestly, in terms of like new shit, is like Southside. Honestly, I think Southside's really slept on. I feel like people don't really realize the amount, like the shit that Southside be doing. Like, it really be crazy. But even with him, I feel like a lot of the times he uses the same sounds. It's just he's flipping it different. And it's like, you got to understand the tempo, the sound, what melodies you use. It's all confusing and tricking the ear from even noticing you're using the same shit. Oh, God. And that's what I realized as a producer, too. It's like, nah, nigga, you can use it like 3 more times. You see when you got that one T-shirt that you like, nah, I was boofed that day. You can't wear it no more. But then you got that shirt that you like, I was boofed, but I could last another day. You got to think of music like that. Like, it's not just a one-trick thing. Like, you could keep reusing it. Think about, like, and some people don't think about drums as samples. Think about them drums as samples, too. Keep reusing them motherfuckers. If you find that 808, that's the one, go. Because that's what works for you. That's what gets you what your sound is. You feel me? So, yeah, to answer the question. I could go on for days, as you can see. Like, this shit, my mind just be going. Yeah, next question, though.
Hey, man. Thanks for
doing
this.
What's going on?
Awesome to hear you talk.
Thank you.
Also, Aasheesh, you're the man, too. So my question was, what's your journey been like moving from, or trying to maybe build or grow from being like a beat maker to a producer? You know what I mean? Like directing the artist in the studio while they're in the studio and saying, let's try this. I'm going to push you here. You know, if you've been through that path, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'd love to. I felt like I learned that with being with Joey. because there was certain things that I wasn't doing, and Joey was like, all right, I'll tell you one moment that made me realize it. There was a lot of moments, but this was definitely one moment that made me realize I should speak up more. So when we was doing Before the Money, we went out to LA and we was seeing Hit Boy. And I remember this was like right around like Niggas in Paris time, I think. But like either way, you already know Buzz from records lasts for a minute. So like I'm like, oh shit, like this Niggas in Paris Hit Boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? We had his crib. First thing I noticed, he has a pair of KRKs. I was like, wow, he uses regular shit, boosted mine, right? Because I know as a producer, when you start seeing like people that you look up to use the same equipment as you, it's truly inspiring. It has nothing to do with your sound or nothing. It's just inspiring. So I'm there, and I'm like, so we're going through beats, and Joey doesn't even notice, but this is something I'll share with y'all because it's true. But so he's going through beats, and he's sitting there passing up on beats that I feel like he would sound so great on, but he's just not hearing it. And I'm like, yo, why didn't he pick that beat? That beat was fire. But that's me as a producer to step in and be like, yo, you should take that beat and get that beat. And this has nothing to do with the boards. This has nothing to do with anything. That's why I'm saying this story, because it literally has nothing to do with even me. It's not even me playing the beats. So I'm listening, I'm like, yo, this beat is crazy. And it's like, we're hearing it for the first time. But I wasn't as confident, and I was still shy. So I was just like, you know what, that's Hit Boy. He know what he doing, and Joey gonna know what he doing. He Joey. I can't tell him what to do. And I let it rock. And then he picked Belly of the Beast for Before the Money and stuff like that. And it's not a bad beat. Love the beat. But I'm telling you, dog, he passed up some beats on God, son. I wish I said something. And that's when I realized, I'm like, word. Like, I need to say shit more. That was one instance. And the second instance was I was in the studio and we was doing Jesus View. And I remember I didn't like, what did I didn't like? I didn't like the way like he flowed this one word. And then I was just kind of like, I wanted to say something. And it worked out. It's when he said, I can't even say the line anymore, but if you listen to Jesus View, it's like, he's like, push you back to 1999. Like, it just sounded like Rush to me. But that's his flow. You feel me? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, yo, I should have said something, dog. Like, it don't sound right to me. And it never did. Still don't to this day. But I love the record, though. It's nothing against the record, and I love that song. But I just wish I said something. Like, I was like, I wonder if the line would even change if I said something. Like, you feel me? And that was another instance that made me be like, nigga, just say something. You feel me? And that's why I always strive people to just say it. Because even if they don't like it, what you said, they're going to think about it like, if they don't know why they don't like something, if you say something, then they're going to pimp, oh, that's why I don't like that shit. They not going to know they don't like it because sometimes they ear not even listening to that. They listening to like, yo, nah, that line was fire, nigga. Like, da-da-da. Like, they not listening to like all the sonics of the whole record sometimes and shit like that. And that's when you start realizing it start eating at you. Like, when you're not saying what you got to say. Like, it's really just start eating at you. When it start eating at you, it's your decision to say it's enough. Like, yeah.
We'll just do one more question, and then we'll do the meet and greet.
I see what that good dot creep on, though. We're going to start off with that. You know what I'm saying? I see. Hold on. I got to get that on the. I see what that good dot creep on. Damn, my phone's blowing up.
Put me on.
Yeah, man. I see you with that good ass dot creep on. Look, and I see that hat behind. Yeah. That's what we talking about. Yo, throw your. When you get a chance, throw your Instagram in there, man.
Sorry. Thanks for coming out, first of all. I respect you. And
Yeah, for sure.
JBL, ShiShi, everybody. But I wanted to know if you're a creative or an artist or producer, like I do a lot of things, but music is mainly my focus.
Yeah.
I like a lot of artists and genres, and I do a lot of genres. Do you think you should focus on one or do what you like?
And that's the problem I had a lot.
I had an album, a couple of them that I dropped, but the first song is not the same as the last song, whatever. And I don't know if that's a bad thing or what.
You're testing the waters, so it's not a bad thing.
Right.
But doing it forever is a bad thing.
Facts.
Because then they're not gonna know, like, what are you mainly trying to do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's got to be a point in your artistry that you show what you're really trying to do, and then you can do all the other shit.
Word.
But you gotta focus. Right now, Right now, you're testing the waters. Are you putting any of the music out?
Oh yeah. Spotify,
So-
all that good stuff.
Exactly. So just keep on building the fan base and doing research of what they like and what they
Right.
don't like. You feel me? And then whichever ones you want to take a chance and a risk on, then you go full-fledged. For example, like right now, I'll give you an example. Me. All right, I'm doing melodic shit right now. Everybody knows me for having bars and shit like that. Everybody knows me for having beats or whatever. Everybody's telling me like, yo, you should rap, but in my heart, like I really want to sing and do melodies and shit. So I'm like, all right, what do I do? Do I just do both or do I just do one? And then I was just like, what is my end goal?
Right.
Am I trying to rap forever or am I trying to sing forever? Way rap looking like right now? I don't think niggas is rapping. That's it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all preference. It's all what you ideally want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's how I looked at it. I know that when I heard, and this is just I know a whole bunch of Cudi records. I'm just using a new one for example because it's recent and everybody knows. When I sing the hook for Reborn, it's like I'm literally being reborn. I've never felt no rap lyric as much as I felt something like that. Or like a Cudi hum or anything like that. Like, I'd just be like, bro, like, or like when Travis tries to do it and it's like, oh, wow, it's like, this is great.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you got to think about it like this. Like, I was just talking to Aasheesh about it downstairs. I was saying, like, yo, you got two types of artists. You got a Hove, you got like a Cudi and Kanye.
Right.
Right? Cudi obviously does not give a fuck about money at all. He cares to inspire. He inspired so much that he made Travis Scott. Travis Scott literally put the man's name in his rap name to champion his love for Kid Cudi. Right. You have Hove. Billionaire, made it his own way. 26 years doing it, came from the trap, feel me? But he did it his own way. What's the difference between these two, right? Jay-Z raps, Cudi sings. Who's more relevant? Now, we're not talking about history or anything. We're talking about the future. I would say Cudi. You want to know why? Because he made Travis Scott, who's going to carry on his legacy.
Facts.
Hove doesn't really have anybody like that. But he did inspire and motivate a whole bunch of other niggas to get their own money and get their own hustle, this at the third, right? Cudi inspired people from killing themselves. You got to know what you want to do.
Right.
Cudi was fine with just being like, I don't care about being the richest man. As long as I save a kid's life, I did my job. And he did, because he made Travis Scott. And now Travis Scott continues the lineage of saving people's lives with music. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now with Hove, his lineage, his shit didn't stop. It's just that there's nobody like, I would say like, all right, yeah, like, he is like, his whole thing is because of Hove, Nah, like, they're inspired by his hustle, this at the third. But it's like, you get what I'm saying? And not for nothing, the melodies, and this is my world. You can say rap lasts longer. It's fine, it's cool. But all I know is the same chords have been played through music for like ever.
Yeah.
And the fact that people still could come up with melodies and this at the third, that shit will always be forever. There's so much you could rap about, dog. Like, it's so much you could rap about. Like, in terms of, it's but so much you could rap about. Like, rap is literally about self-indulging. Like, and it depends on what kind of rap you are, but like, the bubble for what to rap about is not as big for a person that's singing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just wanted to give y'all that.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Guys, give it up for Kirk.
I think this guy got one.